Thank you so much for joining me. And I have been fascinated by the service that you provide to your clients. So I wanted to hop on here and record some of the gold so we can share it with our joint clients. And so you describe your business as restoration. I kind of think of it as like crisis management for your home. So why wouldn't you explain what you do?
Yes, you're right. First, it's going to be disaster relief, right? So now you have a big flood. Now there's fire, and now there's sewage backup. You have your basement flooded. There's a hurricane. All these things. So the first thing is we go in. It's going to be crisis management. We go in, we react, we make sure everything is safe. We're the first people on site. Sometimes we're there before the homeowner, if they have sensors or cameras. So there's that part to do with it, and that's very intense. And then slowly it goes more into restoration. And as we deal with the insurance, as we deal with the adjuster, we're moving on from this crazy, fast-paced part to more of a regular speed project. And it involves a lot of the restoration, a lot of the build back, a lot of the admin work dealing with insurance and making sure that our homeowner is basically getting what they paid for all their life in their insurance premiums.
So dealing with the insurance companies is a huge component of your process.
It is. Dealing with insurance, unfortunately, insurance companies are not on the insured side. Sure,
they're trying to save their own money.
Yeah, of course, because essentially that's how they're going to make money. A lot of insurance companies are good companies, but you need to know where to put pressure. You need to know how to get things done the way, because first of all, time is a huge thing with insurance work. Sometimes a reconstruction project can take up to 2 or 3 months just for it to get approved, especially if the homeowner is dealing with that.
Right.
When you're dealing with a professional, they're going to know how to press the right buttons, how to to reach out to the correct people, how to make things move forward a lot faster. So to answer your question, yes, insurance is a large component of what we do. It doesn't mean that every single job is insurance. Absolutely not. Sometimes jobs might be, a few $100s, maybe a couple of $1,000s. And in that case, we're going to speak to the insured and tell them, look, you don't need to file a claim. If you file a claim, your premium is just going to go up over time. So we'd rather guide them away from filing a claim. And it's just going to be more beneficial for them in the long term.
So I think part of what I think is super exceptional about y'all is your ability to communicate with the insurance people, to get somebody on the phone, to get directions so you know what you can do for the homeowner. That is super unique in your industry. There are a lot of people who do this who just don't have that nuance, who they know how to clean up the mess, but they don't know how to navigate the insurance system.
Unfortunately, a lot of people know how to do great work, but they don't know how to navigate the insurance process. And what happens in that case is the homeowner is the person that's going to end up coming out of pocket for it, or not really maximizing their insurance premiums that they've been paying all this time. We know how to put the right pressure so that they can get things approved for us and make sure that everything moves forward for the homeowner.
So we're going to talk about your process and how every step along the way you are documenting everything for insurance. I think that's a huge component of it. But let me back up for a second and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself. I think your story is super unique.
I came to the United States 11 years ago. I played professional basketball most of my life. And then when I came to the US, I was looking to do my own business. I did construction back home. I did a very similar business back home. And then when COVID happened, we launched the business the first week into COVID quarantine. We've done great. We are Franchise of the Year for AdvantaClean for 2022. We're Franchise of the Year for the International Franchise Association. We're one of 2 restoration companies to win that award this year, which is a really big deal. So we're very proud of that. So we're getting there. We're definitely getting there.
Okay, excellent. So one of the reasons that I found what you do so interesting is that my business partner, Shandy, had a flood at his house right after they had finished a $200,000 remodel. So it was a complete mess. And so they called a restoration company that starts with an S and ends with an O and is always on TV. And those guys came in and they sucked up the water, pulled up the carpet, and then they put fans and dehumidifiers into the system. And then they came back and drained the humidifiers. And it wasn't super professionally managed. And I think they felt like they weren't getting a ton of service for the money that was being drained out of the insurance world. And the one of the things you said recently that totally spoke to me was that when you have a breach of safety, like a flood or a fire, the very first thing that your team does is to create a zone of safety to separate out the hurt part of the house from the rest of the house, and to put the right technology in place to filter out all whatever's going on into the outside of the home. And in the particular case of my partner Shandy, they didn't do that. They just blew everything all around, which if there was mold being created, it would be in the rafters of the house before it was all over. So tell us a little bit about how you section out the problem.
Sure. I will start off by saying it's not just mold that we're blowing around. All of our houses, they're full of contaminants. You've got dried up pesticide, you've got there's bacteria. It's not just mold, it's not just fungus. There's so many other things. And when we enter a house or enter anybody's house, the first thing that we do, actually before we even set up containment, we do something called a pre-clean. And what a pre-clean does is it basically reduces the amount of contaminants in a specific area. After pre-cleaning is we would set up containments. So we would set up these isolated chambers where we would do the work in. Essentially, it's a room made of plastic. We containment posts, we set up plastic all around it, and we contain this completely from the other part of the house. Now, this happens even if the homeowner is still living in the house or even if they leave the house to avoid any cross-contamination. In that chamber, we put that chamber under negative air pressure. So we actually set up an air filtration device or an air scrubber, an air filtration device we set up in that chamber, and we'll move all of that air to the exterior of the house. And a big part to do with this is, and this is actually a huge part of it, all this that we're doing in this, doing the safety assessment, making sure the homeowner is safe, making sure we're not causing any secondary damage, it all takes time. And time, obviously, you know this, and everybody listening to this knows this, is money. So these companies that are hired by the insurance company, so the company that you mentioned, for example, what happens is they're in contract with the insurance company. They're called a program vendor, which means when the insurance company gets a call, they're going to refer this company out. But this company has negotiated rates with the insurance company. They have certain variables that they can't pass. For example, they're only going to get paid for drying of equipment for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens if you need drying for 5 days?
Right.
Now the business owner of that company needs to make a decision. Am I going to do this for free and do a right job? Or am I going to just pull out the equipment and really not worry about it? And there's so many other examples of this. Sometimes they don't allow you to install an air filtration device to start off the project. Sometimes you're not allowed to charge for PPE. And then if you don't charge for PPE, now you're affecting the employees that you have working for you. You're not doing the job right. So basically, you want to hire somebody that's representing you and not representing the insurance company. So the first thing you do is that you do not call the company that the insurance company referred you. Never do that. That's the biggest no-no in our insurance, in our industry, basically. And we are not a program vendor for any insurance company.
Okay. But the insurance agents who want their clients to be taken care of will refer you.
Yes. So we get a lot of work from insurance agents, but not insurance adjusters.
Right. Because the insurance agent wants to make sure the client is getting the best experience and that the client refers the insurance agent back out. So it's an interesting dynamic in the market. So, okay, I got the message. Don't call the insurance company don't call the company the insurance adjuster tells you to do it. And if you think about it, this is the thing. In those moments of crisis, it's really easy to be taken advantage of.
Yes.
So it's super important to work with a company that is referred, that has a great reputation, that someone knows that they're good at what they do. It's not the time to call somebody out of the phone book.
That is absolutely correct. Now,
So y'all are all going to save Sari's phone number that's on this recording into your phone, so that when you or one of your friends has a crisis, that y'all are going to call Advantaclean and get your the best service and the right service for your people. So I interrupted you. Sorry.
no, it's fine. I did want to add one other thing. When you have water damage or maybe light smoke damage, you don't want to call your insurance company first. You call your insurance company, and then you have a deductible of $2,500. Then you file a claim. You get a company, whoever it is. It could be us. It could be somebody they referred. You come out, and let's say the entire project is $3,000. Well, now you filed a claim essentially for no reason. You're going to pay that premium, and with this insurance market right now, they might drop you if you have a water claim on your home, on your property. So the first thing you want to do is you want to call a company and for them to come out and do an inspection. Most companies are going to do a free inspection. We do a free inspection. It's pretty standard in the industry. They come out there and then they can give you a game plan. They'll be like, this is 100% a claim. No, this is going to be, let me give you an estimate. Let me give you a not to exceed on this. This might be a couple of thousand over your deductible. Maybe we can work something with you where you're not filing a claim. The goal is to make sure not just to save money today, but also not to end up with higher bills next year and the year after on your insurance premium. And that's why a lot of insurance agents, they love us and they call us out because they'll call us before they call the insurance company.
Right. And you were actually referred to me by an insurance agent who does just that.
That is correct.
So tell me a little bit about your documentation process, because I feel like that is also super unique. You use technology in a way that I think helps clients get the maximum settlement from their insurance companies, and makes you more efficient, so your service is less expensive.
The documentation is really important. It's not just to get paid, but it's also, if companies don't get paid on time, eventually they will file a lien on the insured's house. We provide the correct documentation. We provide it quick. Everything is sent out to the insurance company within 24 hours, and the adjuster wants to get it off their table as fast as we do. So we help the insurance company actually close this file. So I'm going to show you here an example of how we document. This is a loss that happened earlier this year. It was water damage. There was pre-existing mold, and their contents. And what contents is, imagine everything in a house. If you flip the house upside down, everything that would fall down, that's what we would consider contents. So we handled all of their contents. We cleaned their damaged contents. We inventoried their damaged contents, and we made sure to get insurance to pay them for everything that was damaged. And this is basically how we do all of that. We use a software called Encircle, amongst other ones as well. All of our project, we have notes on every single day that we come in, everything that happened, what's going on. Basically, it tells a story of what happened from day one. So nobody's looking at pictures trying to understand what's going on. We do have a story that's being told via text on a daily basis. Of course, the sketch of the house. And then these are any pre-existing damage that we have, the cause of loss. We have the walkthrough videos. So if an adjuster wants to basically walk through the house, they could look at these videos. It's similar to what you would find on Zillow, basically. You would walk in, it's a 3D sketch of the house. You can walk and take a look at everything. And then we have all these overview photos. It's a lot of pictures. I'm not going to go through all of them. This is a small example for of some stuff that we do. We're doing work over here. They have some contents. We weren't allowed to move these contents out, so we make sure that we protect everything so that they're not getting damaged. Let me go back here. Again, it's a lot to go over. This room right here, this was put under negative air pressure. So the exterior of this room was covered in plastic. And then this is an air filtration device. And we make sure that everything actually goes outside of the house The window is sealed. I don't know if you can see the red tape around it here. And so basically we put this room under negative air pressure, which means the airflow moves from the unaffected areas of the house to the affected versus the other way around.
And it's by providing all this detail that helps the insurance company. You have everything the insurance company needs to make a decision about what they're paying, what they're covering.
Correct. I'm going to show you an example right here, for example. This is an old Kenwood stereo system.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen, for example, with something like this is if the homeowner sent this to an adjuster, they would give them, oh, this is an old sound system. This is what, worth $25, $50? This is
Right.
old. This is 30 years old. This is garbage. Well, no, this to us is a vintage stereo system. I'm not saying this is worth $5,000, but instead of $50, this is worth $400 or $500 because you can't
Right.
get a replacement because there's sentimental value for this. So
Right.
it's items like that where we would differentiate from an adjuster coming in and just kind of writing everything on a piece of paper. We do put the bar up there where they know that they're not going to be able to come and pay the homeowner 50% of what they deserve. The homeowner needs to get paid 100% of what they deserve, not 101%. Because it's got to be
fair,
ethical, legal, and fair to everybody. But with insurance companies right now, it's very difficult for them to be fair and reasonable unless you have somebody really representing you and supporting you throughout the process.
Right. And, we all say, oh, I should take a picture of all the things in my house. We say that all the time for insurance purposes. And so, of course, unfortunately, none of us do. Y'all should do that. Y'all should take lots of videos of stuff you have in your house. But
yes,
for me, the fact that you come in after and you take the pictures of the things that are distressed, that makes a difference in terms of, because the insurance companies are going to say you don't have any documentation, I can't help you, but you're providing third-party documentation, which the adjusters want to provide as little as possible because that's what's good for their company. But if they have all the documentation where their bosses and whatnot, they've covered all their tracks, then they just want to pay out the claim and be done with it.
That is very correct. And a lot of, they will come in and they will ask you to send pictures. I know I kind of said this a little earlier, but I do want to say it again. An adjuster will come to the house and take pictures of something that's damaged and pay you for it. They're not going to try to escape it. The thing is, how much are they going to pay you for it? How are they going to value this item? Is it a specialty item? Is it not a specialty item? Is it sentimental value? Is it worth cleaning? A lot of times they'll ask us to clean an item and we'll tell them this is not a cleanable item. This is not, you're not going to get away with this by paying $6, $7 on cleaning this item. This item needs to be replaced. So insurance companies, they're not going to tell you specifically, we're not going to pay for this. I mean, sometimes they will, but not the majority of it. But they are going to try and short you. And again, that's why you need somebody that has the ability, that has the connections, that has the technology to be able to come in and get you your full reimbursement value that you deserve.
So it seems to me that having all the details is what makes you most effective with the insurance companies. It probably makes your job, helps you do your job better.
Yes, it does. I mean, we are very detailed in our documentation, which again helps the insurance company, helps the homeowner, helps us, just helps everybody across the board. We're not only detailed in the documentation, we're actually detailed in the project itself. I want to show you, some examples over here of like the way that we actually clean, because essentially we restore, we do the build back, we handle the contents, we do the dry out, we do the extraction, we set up these containment chambers, but it's the level of quality of the work that is really what we really pride ourselves on. These are just some pictures. These are blinds. This is a HEPA vac. So it's a HEPA vacuum. The filtration on this HEPA vacuum is 99.97%. So basically, it can catch a COVID virus in that HEPA filtration, in that filter. That's how small it is, and that's how we clean these blinds. Very detailed, very, very meticulous about it. Even if we were to clean, I saw this picture, small chandelier, and a restoration company is not going to clean the chandeliers. we HEPA vac it, we wipe it down, we clean it, we make sure that we actually leave the place way cleaner than it was before.
Sure. Especially if you were up in my chandelier.
Yeah. We want to return you to pre-loss condition, which means we want to get you back to the condition you were before the loss. And we say that, but technically, we actually return you to a condition that you were better off before the loss, not just that same condition. And that's something that we actually go over in our meetings every single day. We're returning the client to a better condition than their pre-loss condition.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much. We will wrap this up and then we'll figure out what's next. Becky's going to go ahead and end the recording here.